विनायकनमस्तुं सततं मोदकप्रिय निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुर्गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं रामनाम वरानने। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसंपदं लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। आञ्जनेयमतिपाटलाननं काञ्चनाद्रिकमनीयविग्रहं पारिजाततरुमूलवासिनं भावयामि पवमाननन्दनं। यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकम्। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। सर्वेभ्यः सुप्रभातं स्वागतं। Where is my something happened to my mouse? Something wrong. So Deepika ji, will you continue?
Yeah.
Will you chant shlokas?
तपस्वाध्याय निरतं तपस्वी वाग्विदाम्बरं नारदं परिपप्रच्छ वाल्मीकिर्मुनिपुङ्गवं कोन्वस्मिन् साम्प्रतं लोके गुणवाङ्खश्च वीर्यवान् धर्मज्ञश्च कृतज्ञश्च सत्यवाक्यो दृढव्रतः चारित्रेण च को यक्कः सर्वभूतेषु को हितः विद्वाङ्कः कश्यमत्तश्च कश्चैकप्रियदर्शनः आत्मवान् कोज्जितक्रोधो द्युतिमान् न सूयकः कस्य बिभ्यते देवाश्च जातरोषस्य संयुगे एतदिच्छाम्यहं श्रोतुं परं कौतूहलं हि मे महर्षि त्वं समर्थोऽसि ज्ञातुमेवं विदं नरम्।
श्रुत्वा चेतत्
त्रिलोकज्ञो वाल्मीकिर्नारदो वचः श्रूयतामिति चामन्त्य प्रहृष्टो वाक्यमब्रवीत् बहवो दुर्लभाश्चैव एत्वया कीर्तिता गुणाः मुने वक्ष्याम्यहं बुद्ध्वान् तैर्युक्तः श्रूयतान्नरः। इक्ष्वाकुवंशप्रभवो रामो नाम जनैः श्रुतः नियतात्मा महावीर्यो द्युतिमान् वशी बुद्धिमान् नीतिमान् वाग्मी श्रीमान् शत्रुनिबर्हणः विपुलांशो महाबाहुः कम्बुग्रीवो महाहनुः महेश्वासो महोरस्को महेश्वासो गूढचित्रररिन्दमः विपुलांशो महाबाहुः आजानुबाहुः सुशिराः सुलालाट सुविक्रमः समश्रमविभक्ताङ्गः स्निग्धवर्णः प्रतापवान् पीनवक्षा विशालाक्षो लक्ष्मीवान् सुबलक्षणः धर्मज्ञस्य सत्यसन्धश्च धर्मज्ञः सत्यसन्धश्च प्रजानां च हिते रतः यशस्वी ज्ञानसम्पन्नः सुचित्वस्य समाधिमान् प्रजापतिं शुभश्रीमान्
समः
प्रजापतिसमः श्रीमान् प्रजानां दाता रिपुनिषूदनः रक्षिता धर्मस्य रक्षिता जीवलोकस्य धर्मस्य परिरक्षिता रक्षिता स्वस्य धर्मस्य स्वजनस्य च रक्षिता वेदाङ्गतत्त्वज्ञो धनुर्वेदे च निष्ठितः सर्वशास्त्रार्थतत्त्वज्ञः
स्मृतिमान्
प्रतिभानवान् सर्वलोकप्रियसाधुः अधीनात्मा विचक्षणः
सर्वदाभिगत
सिन्धुभिः समुद्रैव
गतस्तद्भिः
समुद्रैव सिन्धुभिः आर्यः सर्वसमश्चैव सदैकप्रियदर्शनः स च सर्वगुणसम्पन्नः कौशल्यानन्दवर्धनः समुद्रैव धैर्येण गाम्भीर्यो धैर्येण
हिमवानिव उत्तम प्रज्ञा complete the next one and half or say from such a sarvagunopetah
सच सर्वगुणोपेतः कौसल्यानन्दवर्धनः समुद्रैव गाम्भीर्ये धैर्येण हिमवानिव विष्णुना सदृशो वीर्ये सोमवत्प्रियदर्शनः कालाग्निसदृशक्रोधे शमया पृथिवी समः धनदेन समस्त्यागे सत्ये धर्म इवापरः
Aha, aha. Valmiki probably felt the same way when Lavak and Kusha were singing. And we'll hear that in the third sarga. He says, Tantri Sama. So their voice was like Tantri, the Veena strings, as if those strings were singing, he says. So likewise, I felt so happy listening to your voice. Tantri Sama Ninada. Uttama.
धन्यवाद बोगाजी.
Shubham Chiranjeeva. Any comments, any opening questions or comments before we start? We are almost, if we run, we can complete today. Let us see. Complete as in the 69 gunas. After which, Tamevam Guna Sampannam will be the story, then starts. But let us see. Either today or most likely in another next session, we'll complete that and then story runs from there. Okay, so we will then continue. So let's start with Adyatana Panchangam. Adya Sharvari Nama Samvatsare Uttarayane Grishmarattau Ashadhamase Shuklapakshe Saptami Tithihi 26:53. So 2:53 a.m. Paryantam. Sthiravasaraha, like always. Adya Nakshatram Purva Phalguni till morning 10:11 Paryantam. Anantaram Uttara Phalguni. Yoga Vyatipataha all the way till 11:08 Adyaratri. After that Variyan Yoga. Karanam Garaha till 3:59. Anantaram Vanik Karanam till 26:53, which means 2:53 a.m. followed by Vishtihi Karanam. So we did last time till Samudraiva Gambhiri, Sarvadabhigata Sadbhihi Samudraiva Sindhubihi Aryaha Sarvasamaha Sadaika. So now we'll start with Sadaika Priyadarshanaha. So last time one main salient feature was we studied Arya, the real definition of Arya as per Samskrita etymology, as well as confirmed by all our cultural knowledge. That also that it is only an address of addressing a great person, anybody, a respectable person. Then Sarvasamaha and then Sadaika Priyadarshanaha will start. Now if you see, I was asking from the qualities that Valmiki asked, how many of them are verbatim coming in Narada's reply? Right? So, how many did anyone count so far? Sadaika Priyadarshanaha, was this also a quality asked by Valmiki as it is?
Kaschaik Priyadarshana was there.
Kascha, Kaha, Cha, Eka Priyadarshanaha. Here he is answering with Sada, but Eka Priyadarshanaha. Eka Priyadarshanaha is the quality. Adjective of Sada. So I think probably I should split it there. Sada Eka Priyadarshanaha. Eka Priyadarshanaha is the quality, correct. There he asks Kascha Eka Priyadarshanaha. Kaha Cha, Eka Priyadarshanaha. And who is Eka Priyadarshanaha? So here is answering one who is always Eka Priyadarshanaha. So we studied what is Eka Priyadarshana there. Does anyone remember two ways to define there?
Someone who is always Priyadarshana, who is always pleasant.
Who is always pleasant. And also we said Eka Priyadarshana, which means Kevalam Priyadarshana. He's only Priyadarshana. There is no other there is no other darshanam in him. So that is what we said. So further elaboration here, Sada Eka Priyadarshana, Sadaiva, which means Nityameva Priyam Darshanam Yasya Saha Priyadarshana, Sada Eka Priyadarshana. Sadaeva Sarvavasthasu. Now they are defining what is Sada. Sarvavasthasu Muhur Anubhave Api Ananubhuta Purva Vat Vismaya Niya Darshanaha. Ananubhava. So Anubhavam, na Anubhavam is Ananubhava. Ananubhava Bhuta Purvam. Ananubhuta. Bhava Bhuta, same meaning. But here the word uses Ananubhuta Purvam. So never experienced before. Ananubhuta Purvam. Purvavat. Ananubhuta Purvavat. Vat means like. Similar to. So like never experienced before. Ananubhuta Purvam. Muhur Muhuhu. Bhuyo Bhuyo is same meaning. Muhur Muhuhu means time and again and again. Every moment he'll look yet still new. You'll again think, right? He's not boring. He's always new. So Sadaiva means Sarvavasthasu. In all avastha. Avasthaha we have three avasthaha, right? Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Those are three avasthaha. And in colloquial terms also, if we see in all avasthaha means in all situations, in all circumstances. So in all circumstances, every moment, again and again, you will anubhave api. Even though you are seeing him again and again, he will still look new, which means never seen before. Muhur anubhave api ananubhuta purvavat vismayaniya darshanaha. Vismayam. Awestruck. Right? Vismaya. You'll be ascharya. Iti. So ananubhuta purvavat vismayaniya darshanaha Sadaika Priyadarshanaha. On the similar lines from the other version also. Sadanubhave api Navanavataya bhasamanaha ityarthaha. So same thing. Sada anubhave api, even though we are experiencing him every day, but still api, even then, Navanavataya, like always new, bhasamanaha, glowing, ityarthaha. Pratikshanam anubhuto api ananubhuta iva lakshate ityarthaha. So same meaning as above. Etena Raghunathasya vilakshana saundaryatishaya suchitaha. So his unique, his special beauty, handsomeness is pointed here. That's what they are saying. So that completes the previous shloka. Sarvadabhigata sadbhihi samudraiva sindhubhihi. Let's say that shloka. Sarvadabhigata sadbhihi samudraiva sindhubhihi aryas sarvasamaschaiva Sadaika Priyadarshanaha. Now we'll say the new sloka. I think at least one or two unmute, that's okay. Let's see. Pragya, you unmute. Sacha Sarvagunopetaha.
Sacha Sarvagunopetaha.
Kausalyanandavardhanaha.
Kausalyanandavardhanaha.
Samudra iva gambhirye.
Samudra iva gambhirye.
Dhairyena himavaniva.
Dhairyena himavaniva.
So far we did 59 gunas. 60th one is Sacha. He is also Sarvagunopetaha. So till the 59th guna, Narada was listing every possible guna that he knew about Rama, saying whatever I heard, whatever I have observed. Because he really starts with Ikshvaku Vamsha Prabhavo Ramo Nama Janaihi Shrutaha. Heard by people as Rama, and so from people I heard about him, and these are his qualities. He started listing. So probably he ran out of unique qualities that he can list of Rama. So finally he's ending with saying, such a Sarvagunopetaha. There is nothing more I can tell about him. Yes, essentially that is what he's saying. I've sold all gunas, and now I think he's full of all. There cannot be, even if I have Anuktaye Bhaktaha, even if I cannot enlist any more gunas, he is full of all those gunas also. That is what it means essentially. Sacha, he is also, and he is Sarvagunopetaha. I cannot list any more. So all gunas, he is full of all those gunas. So now let us see how Bhashyakara has explained this. This is a very complex Vyakhyanam. Let's see. But the summary is that. So Idanim, so they are quoting from Shruti and Smriti, two Vakyas. From Shruti, Natat Samascha Abhyadikascha Drishyate iti Shrutya. So Natat Samaha cha Abhyadikaha. So neither equivalent nor more than it. It for us is the Parabrahma. Right? Because Vedas Shruti always talks about Parabrahma. So Natat Samascha Abhyadikascha Drishyate. Likewise, Smriti is also a quote. Samona Vidyate Yasya Vishishtaha Kutaeva hi. Where else can there be Samaha significantly be seen of it? Vidyate or exists of it. Says Smriti. But same meaning essentially. Whatever Smriti talks, that is what Smriti also elaborates and or quotes again. So, iti smrityacha vastava raghunathopamana bhave api raghunathasya upamana abhave. Abhavaha, absence. Due to the absence of an equivalent upamana. Why? Shruti is also saying the same, Smriti is also saying the same. What? That there is no equal, there is no similar, there is no simile, there is no comparable entity or being in the universe, because he is the creator. So there can be nothing equivalent or more than him. Everything else has to be less than that. Is what typical Vedanta and Smritis say. So now they are, because this is the, see, if you see from the three Bhashyas, Shiromani, Tilaka and Govinda Bhashya, those three are what we are unique points trying to compiling and putting them here. Of them, the Govinda Bhashya is mostly in the Bhakti Sampradaya. So they try to see Rama, they try to glorify Rama as a god. But in the other two, they go by general, the way Valmiki intended, they explain only from that meaning. But this one is from the Govinda one, because the Shiromani and Tilaka, I saw that they were, they mean whatever we already know as Sadaika Priyadara, such a Sarvagunopetaha. So what they are saying is Vastava Raghunatha Upamana Abhave Api. So because Shruti and Smriti anyway say that, And in reality, also, there was no equivalent or anybody better than Raghunatha, than Rama. So, because we lack an equivalent simile, Vastunaha Duravagahat Balan Bodhayitum Ishuvat Savita Gachati Itivat. So, because we lack any equivalent simile, Vastunaha, however, to describe it, Balanam Bodhayitum, for children to teach, Ishuvat Savita Gachati iti. So how do we teach Bala about sun rays, light of speed? When they teach that at the kindergarten level, what we say is, the sun rays, how do they travel? They travel like issue. They travel like an arrow. How does arrow travel? Very fast. I mean, that is the closest analogy for them at least those times, right? Now we can say it runs like a bullet, for example, right? That's how you tell children, hey, sun ray can runs like bullet. That just as, because there is no other equivalent simile to teach a child, Duravagahat, because there is no way to explain it to them, because it is tough to explain it to them. Duravagahat Balanam Bodhayitum Ishuvat Savita Gachati iti vat. Like that. Vat means like that. Tad gunamshamsha sadrusha gunavataha upamanatvan arhan api tad guna sadrusha gunavantam ishwaram api upamanatvena prakalpya aha sacha ityadina. It's a very long sentence. Bhashyams are very complex and compound sentences. And as you can imagine, in Sanskritam, that whole sentence will seem like one word, because if you see the whole bar on the top, it is a samasa. The entire sentence is a samasa padam. So you'll have to break it by giving additional constructs of to his, its, apostrophe, ss, etc., etc. But to understand what they're saying is, just as we find tough to find similes of how fast sun ray travels, and so we take the example of a fast object traveling, which is an issue as an arrow. So also, for the lack of other similar similes, which also means for the lack of more adjectives to explain his qualities, because we ran out of them now. So, such a sarva gunopetaha is how we are concluding it, essentially saying. Asmin pakshe arthaspashtaha eva yadva tad gunalesha gunanam anyatrapi pratiyamanatvat tat upamanattvena raghunatham varnayan aha sacha ityadina. Sarva gunopetaha sarvair uktva sarvairukta vakshamanehi gunairupetaha yuktaha. So essentially, what they are saying is, tad gunalesha gunanam anyatrapi pratiyamanatvat. Because we have listed all the gunas already, we might, there may not be even a guna lesha. There is no other guna that we have probably not listed. So we are concluding it by saying sacha sarva gunopetaha. So that much we will take there. So I think you understood, right? Essentially what we are saying is, we are running out of adjectives now to praise Rama. That's what they are saying, essentially. For two reasons. One, because we have already listed 59 gunas. Two, that there cannot be another sometimes what happens, you run out of direct adjectives. That time what you do, you start taking examples, analogies, and say like him, like him, like him. And that is what Narada is now going to do from the next guna. So, sacha sarva gunopetaha kausalyananda vardhanaha. So now there are no more direct gunas of him. Now he is saying Who else are getting pleased? What else? Take some more examples and quote out from there. So one example he says is, he is so pleasing. How? Kausalyasya Anandavardhanaha. So here there are 2 points in this bhashyam, let us see. Kausalyasya means Rajnyaha apatyam Stri Kausalya. Kosalasya. Kshamatam. So how does the word Kausalya come? What is the derivation there? Kosalasya Rajnyaha means Rajan. It's a nakaranta padam. So Rajnyaha means apostrophe S of Raja. So Kosala Rajas apatyam Stri, girl child, becomes Kausalya. Kosalaha or Kausalya. So that is the name of Kausalya. Tasyaha Anandam Vardhayati iti Kausalya Ananda Vardhanaha. So of her Ananda Vardhayati, he keeps enhancing the Ananda of Kausalya. Kausalya Ananda Vardhanaha. Cha Shabdaha eva kararthaha. So sacha sarva gunopetaha Kausalya Ananda Vardhanaha. The cha there, here he is saying is eva to mean. He is Kausalya Ananda Vardhanaha eva iti. Now they are saying Kausalya Sutatvena Avatirinaha Vishnureva Vedantodita Sakala Guna Sampannaha Paramatma. So Kausalya's as a child of Kausalya, essentially Vishnoho Avatirinaha, Vishnu's avatara only, as quoted by Vedanta Udita Sakala Guna Sampannaha Paramatma. Natu Brahmadishu Anyatamaha Ityarthaha. So, as I said, this is also coming from that Govinda Bhashyam, which is very bhakti oriented, or bhakti from the point of view of bhakti yoga. So here they are trying to glorify or qualify and glorify, saying he is as proposed by Vedanta Udita Sakala Guna Sampannaha Paramatma Kausalya Sutatvena Avatirinaha Vishnu. Natu Brahmadishu Anyatamaha. However, not one among. Anyatamaha means one among who? Brahmadi, which means Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwaraha. See, these, what we say is Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. There is one Paramatma, Param Brahma. Param Brahma, that is ultimate, right? Param Brahma creates one set of Trimurtis for each Vishwam. And we discussed this some time back also, right? Even science today accepts we have several parallel universes. The universe is not just one. We are talking of world and earth, but then there is galaxies. Several galaxies form one universe. And now we know there are several such universes in parallel. And so, as per Shastra, for every universe there has to be a creator. So there is one Brahma, and so there is one maintainer Vishnu, and then there is one Shiva there, and then Indra and all those forces. Because every universe requires them. So here they are saying Vedantudita Sakala Guna Sampannaha Paramatma Vishnureva Kausalya Sutatvena Avatirinaha Natu Brahmadishu Anyatamaha. Because if you talk of Brahmadishu, then he is not the unique one. There are several such Vishnus in every galaxy. What the Govindacharya is trying to say here is that no, he is not among one of those several Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. He is that unique Param Brahma, which is as quoted by or as revealed by Vedanta as the ultimate Param Brahma. That avatara is the Sri Rama, not one of the not one of those Vishnus from one of the universes. Because there are several such Vishnus, then we have to qualify from which universe is he Avatirna. So, through bhakti, they are trying to glorify here in this bhashyam. Ataeva vakshati Kausalya lokabhartaram sushuve yam manasvini. in the Sundarakanda, 38th Sarga, 53rd Shloka, as Hanuman is identifying himself to Sita, because Sita is already scared. Anyone she sees, she is into so much of incredibility, meaning not incredibility, what should you call it? She lost all confidence in anyone, because everyone has Mayavi there. We don't know who is a real person, who is a Rakshasi. One time they look good, one time they look good, the other moment they look like Rakshasas. So she lost self-confidence. She has self-confidence, but she lost confidence in identifying anybody, right? So in such moment, when Anjaneya from the Ashoka Vriksha on the top, if he comes down and he says, I am, Rama's Duta, I am Rama Bhakta, she's not going to believe him now, because she's looking as another, Vanara. So she would not believe. So he knew it, he realized it. When he heard the conversation with Ravana, later with Trijata, he realized it. Oh, it will be very tough for me to identify myself. So how can I identify? The best way is to tell the entire story of Rama and their intimate moments between Rama and Sita, as Rama has revealed to me. Then she might believe me that, yes, this is somebody who is really close aid of Rama, and they'll be able to trust. So as part of that, when he's telling that story again, and you will see this after from 20th shloka onwards, the way we hear Ramayana told by Narada, then over and over we keep hearing this story told several times. Rama himself, when he identifies with rishis, he tells his entire story. I am son of Dasharatha, born in Ayodhya, blah, 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 all of that story. And then Hanuman tells the same story. Sita tells this too. So that this small, brief Ramayana story will be told several times in different shlokas, of course, right? But we will keep seeing that. So as told by Hanuman, as part of his identification to Sita, this line also he says, Kausalya lokabhartaram sushuve yam manasvini. Manasvini Kausalya, sushuve means she delivered, prasutihi. Prasutihi krita is sushuve. Sushuve lokabhartaram. Hanuman is also saying here, identifying Rama as that lokabharta. He is the bearer of he bears the entire burden of the entire loka. All lokas. Sarvanam lokanam bharta lokabharta. So tam lokabhartaram Kausalya sushuve. Essentially referring that, pointing the reference, it's another pointer to that shloka. Kausalyananda Vardhana ityanena Janakat adhiko putranando matari iti dhvanitam. So this is from the Shiromani. As I said, Shiromani and Tilaka are more or less bhakti and hence less glorifying, but only presenting the facts that need to be elaborated. So normally we would have heard this putrana, putrotsaham. In Telugu shloka padyam we have this putrotsaham atandrike kalagunu, right? That padyam. What they say is, father generally gets that excitement when he sees the success of the son, of the child. So putrotsaha is a common word. Putrananda, putrotsaha is a very often quoted example to say about parents' excitement. But Shiromani Bhashyam is saying here, Kausalyananda Vardhanaha ityanena Janakat adhikaha putranandaha matari. So it's not that always only father gets the excitement. Janakat adhikaha, more than the father. Anandaha matari, in the mother. Iti dhvanitam is sort of implied here, is mentioned here, is what it is saying. Did you get it? By saying, instead of saying Dasharathananda Vardhanaha, by saying Kausalyananda Vardhanaha, he is saying here that he gives, even though it is a popular thing that Putrasya Anandaha Pitari means in the father, but by mentioning explicitly Kausalyananda Vardhanaha, here Narada is saying that Rama goes beyond that and is able to give more ananda to the mother also. And so there are another angle also if you see. Kausalasya Rajnyaha Apatyam Stri Kausalya, we said. So Dasharatha inherited or got this Kausala Rajyam from Kausalya. So it is also said there was sort of matriarchal. There is no one single thing. Wherever, based on convenience, based on the situation, things always are accepted differently across the nation, across the country. So because there is Kausalya reference there, and hence he said he had to mention Kausalya Ananda Vardhanaha, meaning Janakat Adhiko Putranandaha Matari Dhvanitam iti. That is Kausalya Ananda Vardhanaha. And now, so from such a Sarva Gunopetaha, that is the 60th quality. 60 qualities are done there. Now there are only analogies or similar examples being given. One is he keeps enhancing the Ananda of Kausalya. And then you go by on more examples. Gambhirye Samudraha Iva. Samudra Iva Gambhirye. We saw a reference of Gambhirya before. An Adinatma. You remember? When we were discussing Adinatma, there in the Bhashyam it was said, Ati Gambhirata iti. What is Adinatma is about Ati Gambhirata. So, now how do you qualify that? It is Gambhirye Samudraha Iva. So, Samudra is, I think all of us know, right? Though there are tides towards the shore that keep coming, but if you go deep into the ocean, it is still, right? Why? Because of the depth. And in fact, that was a good one that Vikramji also said last time. Because of the depth, Gambhirya comes. So for the ocean also, towards the shore, there is no depth. It is shallow. It is very less. There is no depth there. But as you go miles inside the sea, then the depth increases. So as the depth increases, the stillness of the sea increases. There are no more ocean waves there. It is composed. It is still there. So that is what is another example, simile taken here. Samudraha iva gambhirye. Once in a while in the periphery, to control somebody, to punish somebody, he might express those vikaras. Vikara is the disturbances from a calm mind and composure. But deep inside, he is like Samudra Gambhiraha. Samudra iva gambhirye. Athasya nissamabhyadikatvam vaktum loke prakrishtavastunam tadaikaika guna samyam aha samudra. So they are saying to loke prakrishtavastunam, the best of the best, the best of the best vastus are taken as the example, as the exemplary similes here. Tadaikaika guna samyam aha samudra iti. So gambhiryam agadhashayatvam tatra samudra tulyaha. So gambhira is about depth. Agadha is the depth. Gambhiryam nama Svantargata padartha aprakashakatvam. So what does Gambhiryam mean? Gambhiryam nama Svantargata padartha prakashakatvam. So the innate, something that is very deep inside you, Svantargata padartha aprakashakatvam. You don't know until you go deep into the ocean. You don't know what is there, all the monies that are there, all the hidden treasures, right? So also when you are Gambhirya, your innermost feelings, your innermost responses are not easily visible or not easily readable. Right? If you can read somebody easily, then he can be easily brought under control, isn't it? If somebody has to manipulate you, not control, manipulate, he can be easily manipulated. So to manipulate somebody, if you can read his mind, then you can start manipulating him. Oh, is he getting short-tempered? Then let's provoke him further. Oh, is he getting scared? Let's scare him further. Is he getting, for each such feeling, if you can read his mind, then you can always manipulate him. So, Gambhiryatvam nama here, aprakashakatvam, unrevealing, your innate, inherent, most deep, innermost feelings, innermost responses, innermost changes that are happening inside to the situation, it is not revealed. He looks calm and composed. He might be facing all the sorrow inside, or he might be facing all the tension inside. He might be facing all the anger, right? Whatever are those guna, shadvikaraha, but they are not revealed. Yatha samudraha swantargatam ratnadikam aprakashayan eva vartate tatha ayamapi swiyam paratvam prakatayan swiyam paratvam aprakatayan eva aste ityarthaha. So, as we said, just as sea doesn't reveal, or all the manayaha, etc., that are at the rock bed, seabed, they are not known. So also, he also doesn't express all the vikaras that are happening, if at all, in him. He doesn't reveal them. So by that, he looks always composed, always, balanced, matured. He intentionally, consciously keeps himself matured, balanced throughout. Why? Because Rama, his whole purpose of his avatara is to set an exemplary role model for the world to start following easily, to start believing that it is easy. Hey, here is another human being like us who has, however, has set this role model for us. So let us follow him. So for that sake, he is Gambhirya Vakshati. And so they are qualifying here, or not qualifying, they're referring another example by saying, so this is not this is not a humanly impossible thing. Because he himself claims, Vakshati Atmanam Manusham Manye Ramo Dasharatatmajaha. In the 105th Sarga of Yuddha Kanda, we will see that. When all Devas come and all of them praise, there is one entire Sarga praising Tvam Brahma, Tvam Vishnu, Tvam Indra, you are everything. They quote all God names and say, you are that Rama, and why are you behaving like this? And in answer to that, towards the end, he says, Atmanam Manusham Manye Ramo Dasharatatmajaha Kim Kshati. He asks, what are you talking? Atmanam, myself, Manusham Manye, I believe I am a human being. And I am Rama, Dasharathatmajaha, I am son of Dasharatha. Kim Kshati, what are you talking? He says. So he constantly reminds himself and others that I am a human being, I am a human being, I am a human being. However, I can still act as a role model. That's the whole purpose of that avatara there. Being a human being, still setting a role model of an ultimate personality. Right? Any comment there? Okay. So, Kausalyananda Vardhanaha, Samudraiva Gambhirye, some more examples. And so if I see, I was trying to get the count, till 60 gunas are unique qualifiers, adjectives, qualities of Sri Rama. The next 9 are essentially, for lack of more gunas, they are trying to give some more examples of similes by comparing the best in that quality. Just as Sri Krishna says in Vibhuti Yoga, right? Daityanam Prahaladosmi, Masanam Margashirshaha, Vedanam Samavedosmi, Indriyanam Asmi Chetanaha, and so on. He says, of each bunch of entities, the best is myself, says Sri Krishna, right? So also, here, Narada is trying to now take the best from each category and give a simile of his characters. So one was in the Gambhirya, the best was Samudra. The next one is Dhairyena Himavaniva. For Dhairya, he is like Himavan. Himavan is, we all know, right? Himalaya. How is Himavan? For one thing, Himalayas are cool. So how is Himavan? He's cool. Right? Himavan is cool. Then we also know Himavan is the tallest mountains. So that is always quoted as the to show the tall stature of a personality. We say Himavan. Sometimes we also take Meru. Merudhara Samanaha, Merugiri Samanaha. We hear that also. When Lakshmana praises Rama, Rama, you are like Meru. How come you are now shattering yourself? No, stay still like that Meru, he says. So also, Dhairyena Himavaniva. So, Dhairyam nama kim? Dhairyam means manasa api adhrishtatvam. So, Dhairyam is not only about physical thing. Dhairyam starts from inner, from the mind. If the mind is courageous, then the body will automatically start acting courageous. It will not run away, it will stay there. So, manasa api adhrishyatvam. Drishyamanaha means this is Mahapranadha. Drishyamanaha. Somebody that cannot be moved. That is adhrishyatvam. So, even you cannot move his mind. That means nothing can deter him, essentially. Ishtaviyogat ava avanabhibhuta chittatvam. Ishtaviyogat avana abhibhuta chittatvam. So even from loss of something that is very dear to him, abhibhuta chittatvam. So he still doesn't get affected even in the loss of the most dear thing of his. So giving examples or elaborations of what are you meaning by that Himavan, which is manasa adhrishyatvam, that the tall stature, still stature. How do we elaborate that? One is manasa, also he cannot be deterred, and even in the loss of his most dearest thing, he can still remain composed. Cha rane achalataya sahaya bhave api sthitischa. So even another example quoted is in the Rana, in the very warfare, in the Yuddha. Achalataya sahaya bhave api sthitihi. So even when he is helpless, sahaya abhavaha. Just as we saw previously, upamana bhave, when in the lack of upamanas, in the lack of comparisons, similarities. Likewise here, sahaya bhave, even in case of lack of help, that means he is left alone, surrounded by hundreds and thousands of enemies. Even in that dhairyam as a Himavan, you can see in him. That's sthitihi. Tena himavat sadrushaha. With all these examples, he is a sadrushaha, similar looking, like Himavat, Himavan. Dhairyam nama shoka hetu samudbhave api nishokatvam. So even in the shoka hetu samudbhave, even in a very tragic situation, when it generates all that worry, nishokatvam, being devoid of that shoka. Tena himavaniva himavat sadrishaha. And they are quoting another example. Girayaha varsha dharabhir hanyamana na vivyathuhu. So just as girihi or girayaha, trees, varshadhara, the rainfall, abhihanyamana na vibhyatuhu. So just as, mountains will never get affected even with such a heavy flooded rain downpour, right? So also abhibhuyamana vyasanair yatha adhokshaja chetasaha. So just as that, so also even in vyasana is even in the dire situations, in the tough situations, he doesn't move, he doesn't get shattered. Iti hyuktam. Atra vastutah samudradehe upamanatva api pratipatrunam upamanatvam sambhavati ityevam uktam. Yatha ishuvad gacchati savita ityatra. So they are elaborating more technically, saying vastutah, actually, samudradehe upamanatva bhave api, even in case of lack of similar analogies such as samudra, etc. Pratipatrunam, pratipatti, we say it in the Vaishnava Sampradaya. Pratipatti is that surrender. Pratipatrunam, of those who surrender, upamanatvam sambhavati ityevam uktam. So by such of those who surrender to Sri Rama, for their sake also, he is dhairyena himavan. He gives that, he stands as a himavan even for those, and that is why people are able to surrender to him essentially. So we completed one more shloka. Let us say that shloka one more time. Sacha sarva gunopetaha pratignya. Prajna.
Sacha sarva
gunopetaha
kausalyanandavardhanaha
samudra iva gambhirye dhairyena himavaniva. Now Vishnuna sadrusho virye somavat priyadarshanaha kalagni sadrushah krodhe kshamaya pruthivi samaha. As you see, iva means like. So more examples are being given. Vishnuna sadrushaha virye. So in viryatvam, in fact, between those three bhashyas, one of them took virya with somavat priyadarshanaha. Virye somavat priyadarshanaha. That's how one of the bhashyas took. But the other bhashyas took Vishnuna sadrushaha virye. So virya is the simile bhava, upamana vastu, is taken in comparison with Vishnu by one bhashya, whereas in the other bhashya they took virya to the somavat priyadarshanaha. But I think because priyadarshana is the vastu bhavam, I want to go by virya for Vishnu only. So virye Vishnuna sadrushaha. Sadrushaha means looks like. Drush is about druk, vision. So sadrushaha, looks like, means another example, simile. Looks like, he looks like Vishnu. In what? In virya. In that viryatvam, he looks like Vishnu. And we know Vishnu's so many avatars where he comes, sometimes he comes physically strong, the strongest, like Narasimha Avatara, Varaha Avatara, where he smashes, people. It's literal smashing. I mean, if you can imagine a horror movie, a terror movie, it has to be Lakshmi Narasimha, the Narasimha Avatara, where he, what do you call it, tears apart the belly, takes the strings as in intestines out like strings and plays with it. And then he takes his heart and takes the skull and smashes them like this. Pada, pada, as if you are hitting two coconuts. So that will be the terror that you can see when he comes, Vishnu. But sometimes when required, he is so smart. Like he comes as a Vamana, a short boy, young boy, and he takes care of Bali also. So both in smartness and physical, that valor, Vishnuna Sadrushaha. So Vishnuna iti virye vishaye Vishnuna Sadrushaha. Vishnoho ardhatvena Ramasya Vishnu Sadrishyam Suvachameva. So as we read the fourth sarga, where actual Ashwamedha starts, and then Vishnu appears, he gives the payasam, the Yajna Purusha actually comes and offers the payasam. And so there it is described how Dasharatha distributes it between his wives. He gives half to Kausalya. From the remaining half, he gives half to Sumitra, and then he comes back and gives the other half to, he gives to Kaikeyi. Then from the remaining half, he gives to Sumitra. So in that order as he goes, the first half is to Kausalya. So the highest potential is in Rama. So because technically Vishnoho ardhatvena, half of Vishnu, technically speaking, right? I mean, we know he is Vishnu, but because technically Payasam was distributed in some sequence that it becomes 4 pieces, not uniform proportions. So even taking that technically, this Bhashyakara, Shiromani Bhashyakara is writing here. Vishnoho ardhatvena Ramasya Vishnu Sadrishyam Suvacham Eva. So Suvacham is, okay, it's a decent statement. What is decent statement? Vishnu Sadrishyam. So when you take a simile, so there is a difference between he is like Vishnu and he is Vishnu. Right? So Vishnu Sadrishyam means he is like Vishnu. So the Bhashyakara is saying, yeah, by saying like Vishnu, I think it is, it is reasonable. Suvachameva, it is reasonable. Why? Because Vishnor ardhatvena Ramasya Viryam. Vishnu Viryam is only half is Rama. Half of it manifests as Rama. So technically, Vishnu Sadrishyam Suvachameva, he says. Yadyapi Ramo Vishnureva Sarva Rupascha Tathapi Manushopadi Bhedat Sarvatra Sadrishyam Drishtavyam Yadva Vishnuna Sadrisha Ityanvayalankara. So again they are just saying, even though Vishnureva, so that was the one Bhashya, right? But this is coming from the Govinda Bhashyam. Because in Govinda Bhashyam, no, for him Rama is ultimate, right? So you will see a little contradiction between these two Bhashyas. But let's read multiple Bhashyas so that we can get the understanding from different points of view of scholars. So in the previous one, it went very technically, saying, yeah, he's half of Vishnu's Virya. So by saying like is reasonable, not saying is. But Govinda Bhashyam is not accepting that. It is saying Yadyapi Ramaha Vishnureva. It is not saying Vishnu Sadrishaha. Rama is Vishnu only. However, now the Ramayana didn't say that, Valmiki didn't say that. Valmiki didn't say Vishnu Reva. He said Vishnuna Sadrushaha. So how can Govinda Bhashyam, sort of justify that? It is saying Yadyapi Ramaha Vishnu Reva Sarva Rupascha Tathapi Manusha Upadhi Bhedat Sarvatra Sadrishyam Drashtavyam. He's justifying it by saying, yeah, even though we know Rama is Vishnu himself, and Sarvarupaha, he is manifestation of all forms of gods. Tathapi, even then, Manusha Upadhi Bhedat, because he has taken a human body, Manusha Upadhi Bhedat, by the distinction of this human body that he has taken, Sarvatra Sadrishyam Drashtavyam. He is helplessly justifying it by saying, yeah, so you have to keep giving similes only, because he is yet another. The moment you give a shape, it is no more absolute. It is no more infinite, right? So because he has become now one body, one shape, all right, I will accept all these similes. That's what drashtavyam eva he's saying. Sadrishyam drashtavyam yadva Vishnuna sadrusha iti anvayalankaraha. So that is anvayalankara, is another alankara in the Sahitya Shastram there. So even according to anvayalankara, we have to accept these similes, is saying the Govinda Bhashyam from their bhakti point of view. 8:30. What do we do, Sriranji? Should we stop here? Or, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I think we should stop here.
We should stop here. Okay.
Yeah. So we can say Shanti Mantra, and then I have a couple of questions for the group.
Okay. So any questions before we stop? Any about whatever we have discussed so far? From these little contradictory, not contradictory, but two different points of view of different Bhashyakaras.
I still don't get it. Is Vishnu Sachidananda, or is Rama Sachidananda, or is Rama Rama?
So there are hundreds of Bhashyas of Ramayana, right? What does that mean? It means so many points of view of looking at the same thing. And that's why we say Vipraha Bahudha Vadanti. Right? So we accept very well that there is no one, or there is no one single point of view. If there are 360 degrees around, there should be at least 360 points of view. As you see that from here, you might get one view. As you see from here, you might get another view. As you see from here, you might get another view, right? So also, there are so many views. The way you understand and the way you are able to visualize and understand Rama, for you to start emulating him in your life, that is your understanding. That is your view of Rama.
Okay.
So if you understand him as Sachidananda, he is Sachidananda for you. But if you ask me, yes, Rama is ultimate. Call him Sachidananda, call him whatever. Because so far, in these millions of years, we have not seen as a Shruti. And that is why Vedas are the ultimate, we say. Why? Their statements millions of years back are still true. We read, right, in the when it went to Sarvagunopetaha, what was this Shruti Vakyam here? Let me highlight that here. So we said, the Shruti said, Natat samascha abhyadikascha drishyate iti Shrutya. Natat samaha abhyadikaha drishyate. And Smriti also said, Samona vidyate yasya visishtaha kutaha evahi. Right? So also, not so also. So Veda is true. Not Vedas said hundreds of millions of years back that there cannot be anything beyond Tat. That's Tattvamasi. Tat is important for us. That means that ultimate thing. Now, we are seeing practically also true. Even if we know only 5,400 years of our recorded history. Now some people are saying 10,000 years of recorded history. Some people say, let's say 15,000 and to 20,000 years. But most of the scientists are also saying the Earth's life is some millions of years, right? 2.5 million or whatever they say, right? 2.5 million years, I think they say, the Earth's life. On this Earth's life, in this 2.5 million years, we have not seen, as recorded by any text, anybody beyond Rama. With Sarvesh Tiwari, once I had one discussion at his home when I was playing. He said, no, there are books like that even in you. I was asking that Odyssey, Euclid, the Greek literature, Greek mythology, as they say. They have some similar stories, but the difference there is why, and that is why I said, why did they not survive this long? Why only our texts have survived and are penetrating across the world into all reasonably open minds? Is because this is not just a story. There is so much of eternal moral lessons, eternal life lessons in it. By saying eternal, it means it is not time bound. Any time you read it, it will be relevant for us to learn a lesson from it. And hence, our texts have survived so long. Whereas the Greek texts remained mythology because it was only a story. There was a Hercules who he raised the earth. Okay, so then what? I cannot raise it. I cannot hold that earth like this. So, is there something to learn from it? That is missing there. Whereas we are fortunate to have so many rishis, so many panditas, so many acharyas, so many gurus, that even if it was not explicitly written as letter by letter or by word, they have, what do you say, they have extracted, they have juiced it and extracted so much of lessons from it. And they make it relevant every time, every era. Right? When there was Shankaracharya, he made it relevant then. When there was Vivekananda, he made it relevant then. Narendra Ghosh made it relevant then. Then, recently we have seen again Swamis who are making it relevant now. Right? So we are fortunate that. Anyway, the reason I'm saying all of this is to tell you that so far, there is no other personality in this universe or in this, let us call it Brahmandas, that was beyond Rama. That was beyond Rama. Right? Yes, we know Sri Krishna is also ultimate, but we say, do what Sri Krishna says, do what Rama did. It's easy to follow somebody what he did. Otherwise, it will be tough to say what somebody says because it depends upon how you understand it. Sri Krishna's lessons will be tough to learn for us because we have to understand it. He does different, he teaches different. But whereas Rama, no, he doesn't, he never preached even one line. Yes, some sagas there will be some lectures of his. In Aranyakanda, we'll see a couple of lectures of his. But most of it was action. He acted to show how to do. That's it. He doesn't give lectures. No Gitas. Unlike Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna gives so many Gitas. But Rama is not like that. He is not a preacher, but he is more of a doer so that we can follow him easily. I don't know if I'm answering. There is no direct answer. I think that I gave you Prajna, but I think probably you get it, right? He is the ultimate. Now we are going to call it Sachidananda, whatever.
I get what you mean.
You get it, right? Good. I'm glad. Okay, so we will then stop here. Prajna made a very good point, very good question. I hope I could address it. If anyone else wants to answer her, feel free. Otherwise, we'll stop here, as Sriranjan said, with the Shanta Mantra. Then he will have his points to Suchana's to talk.
In short, Bhogaji, all that you are saying is, the one's perception of reality changes from his point of observance.
Exactly.
So, an object is there. You are standing to the left of the object. I am standing to the right of the object. To me, it looks like, it's on the left. For you, it looks in the right. But the object is there where it is.
Correct.
So, if you are coming from that side of the road, you'll make a left turn. If I am coming from this side of the road, I'll make a right turn. The house is there where it is.
Yes.
So, it is from where you are coming. It's always... So, we allowed people to think about it. That is the beauty where... or for text, where we have not hidden our text and say, okay, this is how you should learn, this is how you should learn. That is not what we force. We say, okay, here's like presenting a paper and saying, here is the thing, you interpret it in your way, right? And everybody, when they do it, though there's intellectual discussions, debates, etc. But that is why it's called Sanatana, because what ultimately remains is the eternal truth. That is why it's that's why when you learn the ultimate truth through that, then it becomes Sanatana Dharma. So it's only point of observance. So some of them might be very contradictory to our view, but that is the beauty of Ramayana and that is the beauty of Sanatana Dharma. Ultimately, will come there.
Yes.
So we don't have to worry about atheist views or that views or this views, because ultimately they will debate amongst themselves and come to the same conclusion as we are. They'll come.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's complete with the Shanti Mantra. I will say that quickly. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I'll stop recording.